Stillness is not just about feeling peaceful, it's about facing yourself head on. A lot of people think meditation is this soothing space where you reconnect with yourself, a kind of peaceful retreat. And sure, it can be that. But it's also much more. When you sit in the true stillness, you do not just relax, you come face to face with your deepest fears. What's the biggest one? The fear of no longer existing. I remember the first time I truly sat in silence. It was after a particularly stressful week, and I thought meditation would help me unwind. But instead of peace, I felt panic. My mind started racing, throwing every fear it could at me. What if I disappear? What if I lose control? It felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, about to fall into the unknown. My heart pounded, my breath turned shallow, and for a moment I wanted to run, but I stayed with it, just observing. And then something shifted. The fear was still there, but it had no weight. It was like watching a spooky ocean roaring outside while sitting safely indoors. The mind does not like to let go. It has spent years building an identity, attaching itself to stories, memories, and accomplishments. So when you sit in silence, the mind panics, it clashes. It tells you that something is wrong, that you're losing yourself. It's just trying to keep control, to hold on to the familiar. But the moment you push past that fear, something incredible happens. You start to see that this fading away is not the end of anything. It is actually an invitation into something bigger than you ever imagined. A friend once told me about his experience with meditation. He had always been terrified of death to the point that it would keep him up at night. But one day during a deep meditation session, he felt something strange, like he was floating outside his body. Instead of fear, there was a deep sense of calm. He described it as being held by something vast and infinite. From that day forward, his fear of death started to fade, replaced by a quiet knowing that there is more to life than just this physical form. He no longer woke up in the middle of the night gripped by terror. He no longer felt the same desperation to control everything. He started to live with a sense of trust, as if something beyond his understanding was holding everything together. Fear shows up because we have been taught to measure life in physical terms. Our years, our successes, the things we have built, the thought of stepping beyond all that can feel like falling into nothingness. But letting go of illusion does not mean losing anything real. The body is temporary, time is something we made up, and the mind is just a storyteller. When you stop running from fear and sit with it, you catch something amazing. Life does not stop when the body is still. Your identity is not tied to your thoughts. There is something deeper, something that has always been there, waiting quietly beneath the noise. So what is left when fear fades? A presence that has never gone anywhere, a life that is not tied to breathing in or out. This life does not need a name, a face, or even memories. It is the awareness that has watched every moment, every emotion without being shaken by any of it. And you just stop resisting that stillness and watch. Fear loses its grip. It might hang around for a bit, whispering its old warnings, but it no longer has a real power over you. Meditation is not about gaining something new, it's about becoming aware of what has always been there. So stop fearing the idea of dissolving. You do not disappear, but you expand. You step into timeless. Finally, you are free.